Bam! My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we doing, my peoples. We talking boxing, but let me kick this thing off like I always do, reminding y'all it don't matter if it's cold, if it's hot, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sunny. If you're up, if you're awake, if you're breathing, it's a beautiful day, my peoples. God gave us another one, baby. Yes, sir. Thank you, God. Yes, we get to enjoy family. We get to enjoy life. We get to enjoy the sweet science, my peoples. For this episode of Boxing for Breakfast, we're going to be talking about upcoming fights. Lots of good fights on the way. We're going to be talking about it, my peoples. But let me kick this thing off by saying salute to those who's already in the building. Side, Toy Mafia, Shaggy, Queeb, the letter M. Salute, my peoples. Bam. Fellas, we have to take a look at the boxing schedule. So I seen somebody ask if this fight is happening in October. No, this fight is happening at the end of this month. That's an old promo. Remember that this fight was delayed. So Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fondora is the next big fight coming up. My peoples, this is going to be an interesting showdown. I've seen the disrespect for Keith Thurman. People saying that one time is going to get knocked out. People saying that Fondora is going to make it look easy. Listen, man, Keith Thurman is not to be disrespected. You're not gonna get what you think you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolate. That's boxing for you. And Keith Thurman, when you think about his championship experience, the fighters that he's been in the ring with, the people that he has beaten, and he only has one loss in his resume. So a lot of people, they slipping on one time. They sleeping on him. He got one loss. And his one loss is to one of the best fighters of all time in Manny Pacquiao. It's not like Keith Thurman is out there getting washed by anybody. Now, the Tower Inferno, Sebastian Fondora, is going to be the favorite to win this fight. Right? I'm not going to play games with y'all. I never do. The favorite is Sebastian Fondora. He's the reigning world champion. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's the man at 154 until further notice. Not Boots, not Virgil. It's Sebastian Fondora. He's the guy. But I'm telling you right now, Keith Thurman has a shot to win this fight. He's not going to go in there to get washed. He's not going to go in there just trying to get a payday, just surviving. Keith is going to go in there feeling like he can win this fight. And with a chip on his shoulder, because you have to understand, a fighter like Keith Thurman, who's been a world champion, who's been on the big stage, he wants to prove that he can do it again. He wants to prove that he can get to the top. And Sebastian Fondora, of course, he's the guy. He's the guy at the top of the mountain that people's going to try to knock off. And he has to defend his title. This is going to be a heck of a fight. It's going to be super competitive. I'm not ready to make a prediction yet. I will, like I always do. But I'm telling you, my peoples, do not sleep on Keith Thurman. Do not assume that he's just going to get knocked out and made to look easy. Because he's never been made to look easy. I want you to take that into consideration. If a fighter never been made to look easy, that's a tough prediction to make. The letter M. Fondora gonna apply pressure. One time, one time a damn thing. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Sebastian Fondora, okay, we know he's gonna be the favorite. We know he's the bigger guy. We know he's gonna have the height and reach advantages. But Keith Thurman is gonna have the advantage in speed and mobility. So you're gonna see that in the ring that night. Gonna be a good fight. The letter M, Fondora is 10 years younger. Yes, sir. But again, don't sleep on the skills and on the speed of Keith Thurman. That's all I'm telling you. It's going to be a competitive fight. You know, Sebastian Fondora is supposed to be the favorite. But it's going to be a good fight, my peoples. Do not get it twisted. That height advantage, that reach advantage Sebastian Fondora has over Keith Thurman, some of it is going to be offset by his speed. He's going to use that speed to get on the inside, get on the outside. And Thurman is on that knockout stuff these days. He said it himself. If you saw his last fight, he won in brutal fashion, devastating blows upon Brock. Can't remember his full name, but I know Brock is one of them. And young, undefeated fighter, Keith washed him. Yes, the kid is not a championship caliber fighter, doesn't have that level of experience, but still strong kid. And Keith Thurman put the Swiss, the Dre, and the Apple beats on him. Devastating knockout. That's the time. And then Keith said it himself, look, I'm not playing around. In my career, at some point, I started boxing, guys. I started boxing and focusing on scoring. I'm getting back on my knockout joint. That's it. I'm going for the knockout, trying to hurt people out there. I'm sitting on these punches. So Keith Thurman, you know, he has what it takes to pull off the upset. I'm telling you right now. What other fights do we have on the way? Wilder versus Chisora. My peoples, who you got in this one right here? Who you got right here? Is Wilder going to knock out Chisora? Is Chisora going to knock out Wilder? I think that's the only real question. I don't know that this fight goes the distance. Brock Jarvis, there you go, the letter M. Keith Thurman just absolutely battered him. Battered. And Brock Jarvis, a young fighter, undefeated fighter. But, you know, it was not going to be his day that day. Queen, this picture really shows the advantage he has and his skill as a champion. I have it for Fondora, but we never know for Thurman his ability to use his speed and movement will show. It will, and he's going to have the advantage in speed out of them too for sure. Now, Keith is going to test his heart. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. Ow. Ooh, you got Chisora beating Wilder? Do you got him winning by stoppage? I don't know. I just don't see this fight going the distance. It could. You never know. But I see both of them swinging for the fences. I see both of them trying to get that spectacular knockout. Ow, Chisora in a major KO. Queen Chisora, even as a Wilder fan. Okay. Ooh. Damn, so far everybody got Chisora knocking out Wilder. The assassin. Bam. Hit that like button. There you go. Appreciate you, the assassin. Yes, sir. And I see people not really ghost watching like that. 11 people in the building, 9 likes. 14 in the building, 9 likes. Somebody ghost watching up in this mofo. My peoples, this fight right here is going to turn into a slugfest. I feel like it's going to happen early. We're going to see both of them pulling out the heavy artillery. Boom, boom, boom. All over the place. The letter M. Wilder, by spin airplane punch, his coach taught him. Whoa, the spinning punch. Boom. The looping joint. There you go. We got one person, got Wilder winning by knockout. Everybody else got Chisora. So according to Boxing for Breakfast, Chisora is the favorite to win this fight. Chisora is the favorite to win this fight. I'm going to tell you what. And I want you to consider this. Chisora is saying that he's going to retire after this fight. But I think he said he was going to retire before he did. I'm not sure. He's saying he's going to retire after this one. Wilder, it looks like he wants to continue to fight. So he needs this. And Wilder's like, what, 40, 41 years old, I think. So Chisora want to retire and look like Wilder don't want to. So if you ask me, Wilder needed badly. Because if you lose, Chisora might push you into retirement. The assassin, Jay, after last Sunday, I doubled down on David Benavidez beating Opataya. He couldn't get a slower fighter out of there. But I will say, man, dude that Opataya fought, man, he hit him with everything in the kitchen sink. Glanton. Oh, man, he could take a shot, bro. He could take it. But you're right, he couldn't stop him. Ow. I hate that Wilder never really learned footwork or how to actually fight. I mean, I wouldn't say he didn't learn how to fight because, you know, you just can't make it to heavyweight champion of the world if you can't fight. I think, yes, he lacked footwork. He never had the best footwork. He also, you know, lacked some fundamentals in there. But let me give you an example. You see how many people he stopped with the right hand, right? With the straight right hand, boom. And he dropped Fury with that same right hand, boom. Right? I want you to think about this. It takes a certain level of skill for you to catch people with that big shot. And I just catch one guy, catch a lot of different guys with that shot. Boom, boom, and take them down. It takes a certain level of skill because you could hit really hard, but you can't land that punch. You can't land it flush. So it takes timing. Obviously, it takes the power, but it takes a mechanic for you to catch them at the right time and boom. So it takes skills. It's just that Deontay Wilder was never the most technically sound fighter. And yes, the footwork wasn't there like that. But it takes a level of skill for you to knock somebody out. You know, there's guys that are big, really strong, and they never become champions. They got power, but they don't have the skill to land those punches. Side Glenn, a tough dude. Tough guy, man. He took the biggest shots Jai Opataya had to dish out. Yeah, his face was lumped up, but he was fighting back. The letter M, Chisora always saying he's retiring. That's why I don't know that he's going to retire. He's been saying he's going to retire for the last few years, and he's still at it. But I'm telling you this right now, my peoples. We're going to see fireworks. Yup. I don't know if that's an ambulance. There's an ambulance over here somewhere. Hold on, my peoples. Oh, yeah, there's an ambulance. God damn. There's an ambulance up the block. God damn, that shit loud as hell. Quick. That's why I can't see Wilder win. If he loses his right hand in the fight, what does he do? I mean, the right hand is the knockout, you know, the finisher for him. That big right hand. But it's not just like he's only throwing the right hand. He's letting the hands fly. He's catching with both hands. MAW, salute, J, chat, subscribe, share, smash that like button, folks. And don't forget to subscribe to Box Center 2.0, my people. You see it right there, pinned on the comments. If you're not on Box Center 2.0, you're not getting that exclusive content from Jay Smith, yo. Tay John Wilder is beyond shot. But, that power is the last thing to go, bro. That's the last thing to go. So when you got power, let me remind you guys about George Foreman and Michael Moore real quick. Real quick, I want you to think about this. Michael Moore was out there beating the crap out of George Foreman. Beating him up. And what happened? Big George landed that monster shot and knocked him out. Just like that. Ended him. And Moore was winning every round, outboxing him. Putting all type of hands on Big George. All it took was that right hand. Boom! And Moore was out. Out for the count. So, when a fighter got that level of power, you can't sleep on him, my peoples. Can't. It just take one punch and it's all over. So he say, hey, Wilder shot. Yo, you got to take into consideration that he's always going to have that power that can end it all right then and there. It can all be over, my peoples. So, don't sleep on him. I think it's going to be a good fight. Honestly, I believe it's 50-50 because they're both at the tail end of their career. And they both got power. They're both willing to slug it out. So I think this is a 50-50 fight, to be honest. J. Rule, Asiatic, Sims, or Barboza? Ooh. Okay. I'm not honestly, you put me on the spot with that one, bro. I really gotta think about it. That's a real good fight. But I can't just say it off the top of my head, to be honest. Competitive, though. I know that's a competitive fight for sure. MAW, Wilder vs. Chisora surely ending in a stoppage. Surely. I don't see that fight going the distance. Honestly, I see them both pulling out the heavy artillery early on. Then on the ground, if Wilder loses, what or who is to blame in his crazy mind? I don't know. I think he'll take this L. I think he'll take it and be like, yo, he got me. That's what I believe will happen if he loses. Boxing Fanatical, real person to blame is his trainer that took a dive when they fought each other. I mean, I don't know if his trainer took a dive. You know, I'm not going to say that he did. But I do know that his trainer should have probably not been his trainer. You know, you don't knock somebody out and then bring him to train you. And Wilder, he got the type of money, I believe, I don't know, but I believe that he got the type of money to have a great trainer in his corner. I don't know why he don't do that. You know, I know he believes in his power, but why not bring a Bomac, a Bozy, a Floyd? I remember one time Floyd offered to help him. Why not bring in somebody that is going to really get you on point? Michael was dropped by one big right after getting pissed up throughout the fight. Even commentators were saying that Foreman is not able to box with Michael's pace until the right landed. Yo, listen. George Foreman was absolutely getting battered. Michael Mora was hitting him with everything but the kitchen sink. But once he caught him with that right hand, that's it. It was over. J. Rule Asiatic, good scrap, for sure. For sure, that's a real good fight. That's why I'm saying, when I think about Barboza versus Sims, it's like, damn, you know, styles make fights, and I really think they're going to go at it with each other. Who's going to win? It's hard to say. Wilder didn't look that good against Herndon. Struggled to knock him out. He knocked him out. That's what counts. But him, look, let's be realistic. Deontay Wilder and Chisora, neither one of these guys is a defensive guru. Think about that. They both can knock you out. They both got power, and neither guy is a defensive guru. So this is like a ticking time bomb of who's going to get clipped first. MAW, exactly, Jay. It only takes one punch to land, right, to close the show, especially at heavyweight. That's the thing, man. In this division, a lot of knockouts happen with one shot. Boom, you out of there. That's all it takes. Wilder and Chisora are cool. I don't think there will be any animosity. In the ring, I think so. They could be cool outside the ring, and I've seen that with a lot of fighters. They cool outside the ring. But once they get in there, nah, they ain't going to be nothing cool about what they're going to try to do to each other. They're going to be trying to inflict bodily harm, bro. Wilder better come to the ring with some crazy outfit on. It better be light. It better be real light. I don't want to hear no, the outfit weigh 40 pounds. The letter M. Wilder's gonna blame the ring girl before admitting a loss. MAW, Usyk said he only got 3 fights left. Rico, Triple D, Warley, winner versus Fury trilogy. But versus Caballero, still my first preference. I mean, look, the only way he avoids a fight with Caballero is if he vacates the title. And I don't think he's going to vacate it because Mauricio, the Golf Ball Sulaiman, gave him a cherry pick fight. They gave him that fight. They were like, okay, you could do that. And then you got to defend. So I think he's going to come back and defend versus Caballero, or at least that's what he's supposed to do. But I do agree that Fury probably has 2-3 more fights left before he calls it a day. Which, by the way, it has implications on the pound-for-pound list because he's the #1 guy, pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He retires. Now, yeah, you know it will move up to #1. And Shakur Stevenson moves up to #2. Philly Talk TV, salute my brother, bam. Wilder got 1 punch, straight right hand. But if it land, oh my goodness, it's over. It's a wrap. Like Reynolds. It's a wrap. Tajon, can you talk about some of the old school fighters? What do you think about Meldrick Taylor? Oh man, Meldrick Taylor was a great fighter. I enjoyed watching him a lot. You know, the speed, the power. In fact, some of you already know this. The first fight that I watched and the one that got me hooked to boxing was Julio Cesar Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor 2. The first fight. That's the first fight that I watched. My pops took me to a friend's house to watch it on pay-per-view. And I was actually rooting for Meldrick Taylor. Imagine, I was 11 years old, didn't know nothing about boxing. I saw this dude looking strong as hell, fast as hell, power when they showed the replay of his older fights. Then I saw Chavez, who didn't have a single muscle in sight. I was like, oh, now this Mexican dude gonna get killed out there. He get killed. And then we saw the way that it played out, man. It was crazy to watch that fight. My peoples, moving on to the next one. Tyson Fury versus Makhmudov. Whoa. My peoples, Tyson Fury, who had already announced his retirement, is coming back to boxing. These guys don't want to leave. They don't want to go, my peoples. They want to fight. Now, where does this lead us to? If Tyson Fury is able to get past Makhmudov, what direction is he headed in? Are we going to finally get Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua? Could that finally happen? I mean, of course, it's a few years too late. It is. We should have got that fight, I don't know, like 2020 around there. But still, I believe that if Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight, we're all going to tune in. We want to see how this fight plays out. I'm telling you, me personally, I can't even make a prediction. If AJ and Fury step in the ring, I can't just make a prediction like that. Al says Joshua chin is suspect. Now, honestly, I don't believe his chin is suspect. I believe AJ got a good chin, solid. You know, it's just that in the heavyweight division, if you get caught with the right shot, it happens. Queen, quick question. Who represent the past 4 kings of boxing now? The past or now? You got me confused with that one. Because in the past, you know, we had Durant, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And who else? I'm missing somebody. Tommy Hearns. You had those guys. Now, I mean, you have to, the main guys now that were given that title was Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. My peoples, what is going to happen with Tyson Fury? What can we expect? Is he going to win this fight? I'll tell you, in my personal opinion, Tyson Fury is going to win this fight. Why do I say he's going to win this fight? Simple. Makhmudov, as good of a fighter as he is, he has not been on the type of stage Tyson Fury been on. You know, he doesn't have the type of accomplishments. And accomplishments don't win fights. But I believe that Tyson Fury is going to be the better fighter in the ring that night and is going to walk out of there with the W. You know, Makhmudov, I seen him fight. I believe that he's going to be able to make it interesting, especially early on. He might even have a fast start and win some early rounds on Tyson Fury. But I got Tyson Fury winning this fight. I know that he's not going to be looking ahead of this one, but I can look ahead of it. What is next for Tyson Fury after he beat Makhmudov? Is it Anthony Joshua? Is it another fight with Deontay Wilder? Imagine that after Deontay Wilder keep calling him a cheater. Another fight with Fury. I don't know, man. Fury beat him twice. The letter M. Winning Fury versus Usyk for the culture. MAW. I'm sick of these guys saying I retire constantly, but just bluffing to stir interest. Does the opposite with me and puts me off. I mean, honestly, it's annoying to see guys say, I retired, and then come back. Like, damn, bro, why you had to lie to us like this? Why you had to tell us this bullshit? So there you have it, my peoples. Tyson Fury is fighting. But let me just point this out, fellas. I'm going to remind you. The same night that Tyson Fury fight, we're going to get Regis Prograis versus Conor Benn. Whoa. Whoa, my peoples. Hold on. Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. Whoa. Side. That's why I hope Buzz stays retired. I think Crawford, in his case, is going to stay retired. I feel pretty confident. You know, the way that he expressed himself, the way that he carried himself. Crawford is a no-nonsense type of guy. He don't be out there making shit up out of thin air or saying stuff to get attention. So when Crawford say he retired, he does a retirement party and everything. Yeah, he's done. He's really out of there. Side, that Conor Benn Prograis fight at a no weight class of 150. That's what it's at. They're gonna face each other at 150, and that's next month, April 11th. Now, the controversy with this fight is the $15 million payday that Conor Benn is supposedly going to earn. Come on now. Quick, Conor Benn, the goofball should lose. I don't know, bro. I don't know that Conor Benn is gonna lose to who's in this case gonna be Little Regis. West Dustin in the building. I'm late, but I'm here. Salute, family. Bam, the like is activated. My peoples, come on now. 15 in the building, 19 in the building, 15. Like some of y'all ghost watching. Stop that sneak hating. Is Regis Prograis gonna fight Conor Benn and win? Does he got a shot to actually win this fight? We're gonna find out. I don't know. Honestly, Regis is not a defensive guru. As of late, he's been getting hit more and more. And Conor Benn, we know how he let the hands go. We know about the power. This is gonna turn into a slugfest. I see Regis Prograis actually using that footwork to stay away from Conor, and that's not his style, his bread and butter. I think Conor Benn is going to push him into his fight and ultimately have his way. Regis is small at 150. He's going to be Little Regis. Ow. Conor Benn by stoppage. Prograis inactive too long. West Dustin, Regis is a banger. He might be giving up too much size. That's what I'm saying, though. He's giving up a lot of size. He's going to be fighting at 150. And not only that, Regis is a fighter who he can move, but that's not his style. If you look at his wins, his best wins, It's him applying pressure. It's him standing in the pocket and trading. But are you really going to do that against a Conor Benn? The letter M. Any man has a punching chance. Queen. But if I have to be serious, Conor Benn will win because his opponent hasn't fought too long inactive. I mean, I don't think it's just the inactivity. I think the size advantage for Conor Benn is gonna, it's gonna show. It's gonna show when they step in the ring, and it's gonna show when they start trading leather. So you have a guy in Conor Benn who's gonna go forward, a guy in Regis Prograis who likes to stand in the pocket but won't be able to because he got a stronger. So now Regis is gonna try to move around, and Conor Benn will be the guy chasing until eventually Regis stops and trades with him. So this is going to be Conor Benn's fight. I think he's going to dictate the pace. He's going to land those. He might stop him. Conor Benn might stop Regis Prograis, my peoples. Brutally. It might happen in brutal fashion. Moving on to the next one, my people. The ladies. The ladies. MVP, most valuable promotion, is going to make their debut on ESPN. That's big. That's a big deal right there. ESPN. Yes, sir. And it's crazy because just a few months ago, we thought ESPN was going to pull the plug on boxing because their contract with Top Rank had ended. Well, Top Rank renewed. Aroma Sound, salute family. Top Rank renewed their contract for like 5 years. And now MVP also got a contract with ESPN. So we're going to see a lot of fights on ESPN. Salute to ESPN, man. They should have been called me over to start doing the fight commentary on ESPN. Or with the people from ESPN Knockout. ESPN Deportes. ESPN something, my peoples. But there you have it right there. Alicia Baumgardner is going to headline versus Shin. Now, I'm going to tell you what. Shin is a fighter that I'm not familiar with. I've never seen her fight. But if she's getting this opportunity, Shin, if she's getting this opportunity, then I'm going to assume that she's a good fighter. I'm going to assume that she earned her shot. And I'm going to say this, and I've said it before. Japanese fighters, when they get that opportunity, like you never seen them before, right? First time seeing them. And the first time you seen them, it's a title shot that they getting. They usually turn out to be real good. It's usually the case because Japanese fighters, and that's real common with them, they go up versus very tough opposition. They be 5 fights in, facing each other, 2 elites, and taking losses early. But they facing real tough ones. So when they get that title shot, you see them for the first time, they usually turn out to be really good. It's like, yeah, they earned that right to be there. Because sometimes you see somebody that you never seen before get a title shot, you're like, man, what is this guy doing over here? How you get a title shot? You're a bum. But I think, hold on, I don't want to mispronounce her name, and I hate mispronouncing names. I think Shin is going to turn out to be a real good fighter and give Alicia Baumgardner a good test. But ultimately, I got to go with Alicia Baumgardner. She's the champion, the reigning champion, and I believe in her skills. She's just that nice. I'm not going to pick a fighter that I've never seen before against her for sure. Clarissa think she can beat up Rollies. The broad is insane. I don't know, man. I don't know if she thinks she could beat him or this is just social media stuff. Social media stuff, selling the brand. The letter M. Shin got her chin rocked. Aroma sound. Look like she has the WBC belt on her shoulder already, so maybe she's already a champion. Nah, that might be, nah. That WBC belt that you see on her shoulder, that's not the main title. You can see it. It's like some intercontinental or something like that. Some type of secondary belt. The letter M. Baumgardner's my baby. That's everybody, baby. Sad. Shin got smoked by Dubois. I'm saying, though, Dubois, man, is a special fighter. And you know what? I think that's going to be one of the biggest fights in women's boxing. Dubois versus Baumgardner. And they've already gone at each other on social media. They've already had their little back and forth. So I think it's a matter of time before we get those two in the ring. And it's going to be an explosive one because, see, that's the thing. There's I would say the women's boxing, the field is shallow as far as the elite level fighters. It's not like the men. So you don't get, two elites like that facing each other that often. Because there's not that many elite level women like that. So Alicia Baumgardner, she's elite, right? Caroline Dubois is also elite. That's a heck of a fight. I'd love to see them fight each other. Wes Dustin, Clarissa is damaging her brand among real boxing fans with this talk about beating male champions. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't feel that way. You know why? Because ultimately, I say your brand is either made or broken by what happens inside the ring. As long as she keep winning, whether she's winning titles or unifying titles or going to different divisions or fighting big names, but as long as she keep winning, she can say whatever she wants, bro. She could make people dislike her, and that adds to her. Because, look, we could always go back to Floyd. People hated Floyd. There's a lot of people that hated Floyd, that hate him till this day. But that's part of the reason why he became the biggest name in boxing. He embraced the role of the villain. He embraced it. He didn't shy away from it. He was like, yeah, I'm the best. Nobody could see me. Nobody could mess with me. The best ever. Like, people hated him for that alone. And yet, here we are, understanding that he's either the greatest boxer of all time or one of them. His name has to come up in that conversation. So Clarissa Shields, I see her the same way. The more people dislike her, the more her name grows. Simple as that. As far as her beating a male boxer, we're never going to see it. I could even sit here and tell you, well, we don't know that we didn't see it. Maybe she can. And that pushes a conversation. That forces a back and forth. So I think she does that. She caused a social media frenzy by saying that. Aroma Sound. All publicity is good publicity. We talking about you. We talking about her. Like, look, Alicia Baumgardner is going to be fighting soon, right? And we're here talking about Clarissa Shields. Simply because she says she'll beat male champions. We talking about her. Good stuff, bro. JJ said, I hit the like button, my peoples, and subscribe. 19 likes. Come on, man. Come on. We headed for 45 minutes. We're going to get to 30 likes before an hour. At least. At least. But, like I said, my peoples, Alicia Baumgardner. Hold on. Alicia Baumgardner versus Bo Mi Ren Shin. I think it is going to be an interesting fight. Japanese fighters, they always bring the heat. And I expect Shin to do the same. So I'm looking forward to a good fight. We're going to see some fireworks. They like to bang it out. Ultimately, I see Alicia Baumgardner walking out of there with the W. Wes Dustin, that's a good point, Jay Smith. I got to admit it. I'm telling you, I think that because we're never going to see it, right? We know that we're never going to see her actually step in there and challenge a male world champion or challenge Rollies. Who is a champion? right? We know that's never going to happen. And no sanctioning body is ever going to sanction a fight like that. It'll never happen. So it's just an interesting conversation to have. And she forces us to have it every time she says that. My peoples, the Mexican monster, Benavidez versus Zurdo. That's coming up. Ooh, this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a very good fight. It's going to be a competitive fight. But whoa. Queen, in my opinion, and my wish is the MVP and their fighter become world class in promotion fights and popularity. Please do not become the WNBA. No, so look, right now, MVP Promotions, they're a major player in women's boxing. Major player, because right now, he might have the deepest roster of women's fighters and the most female champions. So I'm going to tell you what Jake Paul did. And he was smart with that. Think about this, Queen. Jake Paul goes into boxing. Most people don't respect him as a boxer. Most people will never respect him as a boxer. Most people will never even see him as a real boxer. They see him as a YouTuber. Now, he's a boxer. He's a boxer, and he knows how to box. He's just not elite level, but he knows how to box, right? But he'll never have the level of respect that he wants in boxing. So what did Jake Paul do? He did MVP promotions, and he started signing. The first one was Amanda Serrano, which set the stage for him to bring more champions, sign more females, right? So ultimately, Jake Paul may have a hard time signing some of the men because men don't really want to deal with him. I think he signed like 2-3 dudes. I think he signed a couple of dudes there. But MVP is women's boxing. So there may be a time where you know, men start signing with MVP like that. But for now, it is like the WNBA because he's just signing women fighters. And what that does is that it legitimizes him in boxing. Because his boxing career, how serious are we really going to take it? Him talking about beating world champions when nobody believed that he could do that. And it's just obvious that he can't. He don't have that talent to beat world champions. But he signed world champions. He's a promoter of world champions. So now, and he's a major player in women's boxing. So his career as a fighter, a clown show, ain't made a lot of money. But as a promoter, he's legit. We got to respect him. We'll never respect him as a fighter, but we'll have to respect him as a promoter, even if it is the WNBA type women's boxing promotional company. The letter M. Sordo gonna go to sleep. Night. Whoa. Benavidez is gonna send Sordo to sleep? Sordo gonna take a nap? Come on, man. Look, this is gonna be an interesting fight. This is gonna be an interesting fight, my peoples. It is. Quick. Japan is one of my favorite countries for fighters from boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. Men and women that come there are elite. It's actually quite common to see a fighter from Japan that you've never seen before, and they turn out to be man nice. Man nice. They tough fighters, man. MAW. Japan has had a lot of champions in recent years. Japan boxing has been in a good place. I still lean to Naoya, but one bad outing last time out for Junto doesn't mean versus Naoya he's going to be back. Could still be fired. No, look, Junto Nakatani versus Naoya Inoue is going to be a heck of a fight. It's going to be a real good fight. He's going to be competitive. They're going to go at it. It's going to be a close fight. Side, sort of going to hate that weight cut. back down to 175. No, he's not going to fight Zurdo and Benavidez. Is not happening at 175, bro. Benavidez is moving up to fight him, and then he's going to go back down to fight at 175. Sorry, I mean, David. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be tough. To fight Sordo and then go back down to fight Bevo and Battle BF, that's going to be tough. But he feel like he can do it. He feel like he can do it. But I'm going to tell you this right now. David Benavidez and Sordo, I see that as a competitive fight early on. But I think Benavidez' punch output, his aggressiveness is going to dictate the pace and dictate what happens. So ultimately, Benavidez is going to win this fight, and he might do it in brutal fashion. MAW, Jake Paul want my respect. Getting whooped by AJ. Full props for taking that risk versus bigger man. Now Jake knows what Jai Opetaia went through versus Benavidez. So I got to tell you. Jake Paul lasted what he lasted versus AJ because he chose to move around the ring. He chose not to engage and do it sporadically. He'd be moving, and then throw a little jab here and a couple of punches and move again and move. Like he fought to survive. He survived as long as he could. Honestly, that fight should have never even been sanctioned. Shouldn't even been sanctioned. But when there's a lot of money, money makes the world go round. You have a world championship caliber fighter in Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul. And before they stepped in the ring, I told you guys, AJ was going to knock him out brutally. Brutally. And ultimately, that's what happened. Broke his jaw in 2 places. Right. Quick, Benavidez for the win in a big way. I think Benavidez might even knock Sordo out. Might even knock him out. Because, first of all, Sordo's nice. Don't get it twisted. Sordo, man, nice. He can fight. Let's not get it twisted. But the Mexican monster is better than him. It's a better fighter than him. It's a better boxer than him. Check out my breakfast, my peoples. That's my breakfast right there. Ah. Some grapes and some strawberries. Besides, Sordo is too slow. I feel that way too. I think Sordo, if you look at his last couple of fights, he looks slow compared to Benavidez. His punch output, a lot less punching. West does it. Benavidez is going to be a GOAT someday. He's headed in that direction. Benavidez only like 28 years old, bro. 28, 29. In his 20s. Already won titles in multiple divisions. Already, has accomplished. MAW, I do agree with that, Jay. Popular guys do get past regular dudes. Don't when it comes to title fights. All for the money. It's about the money. It's a business. It's a business. On lace kicks. Smith, do you weigh your fruits intake? I do not, bro. I don't. I basically grab a tray of this fruit, a tray of that fruit, put some in there, and that's what I want to eat. I don't weigh none of that. I don't go that deep into it. I don't count calories. I eat healthy stuff, and that's it. Get my running in the morning. Sometimes I got 2 a day, so I run in the morning and run in the evening again. But that's it. I just do my workouts that I gotta do and eat healthy to the best of my ability. My people's the next one that we gotta talk about. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Whoa. Whoa, my peoples. This rematch is looking like it's gonna happen. And I have to say, this time around, I've seen a lot of people saying that Manny Pacquiao is gonna win the rematch. But for the first fight, there's a lot of people who also said Pacman was gonna win the rematch. Queen, when I heard AJ was going to fight Jake Paul, many Jake Paul fans were saying that it might be competitive. There was even people saying that AJ was gonna take a dive. You don't remember that? That was a narrative for a little while. There was that narrative going around. Oh, AJ's gonna take a dive. He's gonna get knocked out. I'm like, oh man, people don't understand what's really gonna happen to Jake Paul. MAW. I was just about to ask, hasn't Floyd Mayweather got 2 fights before Pacman rematch? I mean, it's looking like Floyd supposedly is gonna fight Mike Tyson next month. He got 2 exhibitions. Mike Tyson in April, then the kickboxing guy, I don't remember when that is, and then Manny Pacquiao. Yesterday somebody told me, damn, Floyd is more active than some of these fighters. He got more fights than a lot of fighters lined up already. Son, Manny got beat up by Ample. I love you. See you later. Wes Dustin said Floyd stops Manny in 10 rounds. Ooh, Wes Dustin got the stoppage. Wes Dustin got the stoppage, my peoples. Make your predictions, man. Make your early predictions for Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Tell me what it is, man. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Who do you have winning this fight? I'm going to be honest, Wes Dustin. You're the first person that I've seen predict a knockout. I haven't seen nobody else predicting that Floyd is going to knock Manny out. But it can happen. It could happen. But I think a knockout, man, is highly unlikely. Floyd by decision. You know that dude stays in the gym. Pit. Manny going to shock the world. Whoa, Manny Pacquiao going to shock the world? Is he going to knock Floyd out? Or outbox him? Shaggy, Floyd in a split. Ooh, Floyd by split decision. Queen, if what you're saying is true, and AJ did take that dive, I would have lost all respect for AJ at that point. I didn't see it happening. I didn't imagine that would happen. Wes does it. The ref will stop it. Floyd will beat Manny bloody. Ooh. Floyd is going to beat Manny into a bloody pulp. Beat him up. Oh, you see? Because when you said Floyd by knockout, I thought he was going to catch it with a shot. Boom. Like Marquez and put him to sleep. But now you're talking about a whole other ball game. You're talking about just he gonna beat him up. West does it. It will look like Bud Spence. Ooh. He gonna brutalize Manny Pacquiao like that? Look. I don't know what the odds are on this fight. But it's gonna be a good one. On Lace. Is anyone Floyd fighting on Barrios' level? Just comparing to Manny's last fight. So, Floyd ain't fighting anybody in Mario Barrios' level. Obviously, he's been doing exhibitions since he retired. And with Barrios, that was a title fight that Manny Pacquiao fought. So, yeah, Floyd didn't fight nobody in that level. But that's not necessarily telling us how he's going to perform versus Pacquiao. Queen, Floyd, but by decision. If Floyd defense does not work, Manny might get a TKO. Not a knockout, but just Floyd getting punched too many times and he can't defend himself. Ooh. That would be crazy. Because we never seen Floyd get punched on like that. If Manny Pacquiao was to beat Floyd Mayweather, that would absolutely take over the internet. Take over the internet because Floyd Mayweather is already a superstar, not just a star in boxing. So every boxing outlet will be talking about it, but every, outlet that talk about sports, period, will be talking about it. And even people who don't deal with sports will be talking about it. Like, that will be one of the most viral wins in recent history. Floyd. Scales pay the bills. The only thing that I wonder is the age factor. Because at 49 years old, I don't see Floyd using his footwork for 12 rounds like he did in the first fight. I don't see him moving like that. You see, going forward is easier than going back. So Manny's gonna, you saw him versus Barrios. Manny's gonna be able to apply pressure, just like he did in the first fight. I don't think that Floyd is gonna have that same level of movement that he had in the first fight to have those legs for 12 rounds. And it's not about having the legs for 12 rounds because Floyd Mayweather's always been in great shape and he'll show up on fight night in exceptionally great shape. But it's just the reflexes to do it for 12 rounds at 49 years old. The reflexes are not the same. So he could have the energy, he could have the endurance, but not the reflexes. And if you think about your age, wherever you're at right now, if you're in your 40s, your reflexes with your hands are more effective right now than your reflexes with your legs. Meaning you can still throw fast hands, but your legs may not be that fast anymore. So that's where I think that this fight will play out a little bit different than the first one, because in this case, Floyd will probably stand in the pocket a little bit longer than he did the first time around. And we'll see them trading more. Which is why I think it could be a more entertaining fight than the first one. I want you to think about it. This fight happened years ago. And people don't remember, but it was a letdown. It was a disappointment. We thought it was going to have way more action than when it actually did. Jay Smith, who you got? I haven't made a prediction yet. Nature Boy, At first, I thought Manny could get him. But I think it's going to be a repeat. Floyd is just the smarter boxer. Nature Boy, Barrios is trash. Let's be real. Barrios was overhyped. Nah, nobody who makes it all the way to winning a title is trash, bro. Queen. Which fighter whose skill set has diminished with the age they're in? Which fighter whose skill set has diminished? I mean, if you're talking about Floyd and Pacquiao, they're close to the same age. The only thing is Floyd is 49, Manny's 47. Manny Pacquiao's a little bit younger. So I don't know if that could be a factor in this fight. MAW, question for everybody. Will Floyd Mayweather ranking drop in your all-time great list if Pacquiao get the W? It's a good question to ask, bro. Side, Floyd has a style that ages better. Drew Dogs, is it a ranked match? I mean, I don't know if they'll be ranked, but it is a professional fight. So, to be honest, it doesn't really matter whether or not it's ranked because Floyd Mayweather is not trying to make a run to where he's going to challenge a champion anyways. This is like a one-off for him. And probably a one-off for Manny Pacquiao too. So, it really doesn't matter if it's ranked or not. They're going to fight each other and then they're probably going to call it a day right afterwards. The letter M. Floyd is going to hit and not get hit. Sweet Science at his best. Yeah, but you're assuming that he's going to be successful at that at 49 years old. So I think you may be, not appreciating what time does. You may be disregarding Father Time. Father Time is undefeated, bro. I'm not telling you that Floyd is going to be defeated, but Father Time, you can't beat him. On Lace, Jay, is the Tank comeback real? I keep seeing all over other channels. So, we have not gotten anything from him directly. But based on what I've seen from Coach Cal and others, it looks like Tank is going to come back this year. It looks like Tank. And the most likely opponent is Pitbull Cruz. So we might get a Tank versus Pitbull rematch. Now, I say the most likely opponent based off of reports that I've seen out there, that they might even already be in negotiations. But honestly, I don't know if that's the case. I think that he'll be coming back and he'll be fighting. I do believe it. The real King George, age don't matter if you're fit and healthy. Nah, that's wrong. Age matters. Age matters. If you're fit and healthy, that's good for you to be alive. That's good for you to make it to your, to your 90s and maybe make it to 100. That's good for that. But if age don't matter, if you're fit and healthy, why you don't see NBA players that be 40 years old? Why you don't see football players that be 40 years old? Why you don't be seeing baseball players that be 40 years old? Because that's it. Their age got them. Your age is going to get you. So for your physicality in a combat sport, age absolutely matters, the real King George. Absolutely. How many world champions do you see past 40? And there are some, and there have been some, but look, it's a very small handful when you think about it. Guys don't go around winning titles in their 40s or in their 50s. If age don't matter, you will see a bunch of 50-year-old world champions, but you don't. And that goes for every sport. You don't see 50-year-old champions, right? So you could be fit at 50 years old. You could be in real good shape, cut up even. But at 50 years old, you're not going to step in there with a boxer and compete. You're going to get pummeled out there. Because there's things that age is going to take care of that you cannot control. Your reaction time with age is not going to be the same. Your speed is not going to be the same. There's a lot of things. Not only that, and here's the most important one that people just don't consider, your ability to take punishment decreases with age. So the punch that you took when you was 22, 23, at 39, 40, that same to knock your ass out. At the same exact punch with the same power. Now it knocks you out. You know why? Because you already got a whole career of taking punches. You already took a lot of punches in that same spot. And eventually, that's it. Your punch resistance is not the same anymore. The real King George. I mean, people who do marathons, though. Oh, no, but damn, bro. But we talking boxing, bro. We're not talking about marathons. In marathon, in marathon, you can extend yourself. But even in marathon, in most cases, you're not going to see somebody at 50 years old running their best time. Most people run their best marathon between their 20s and their 30s. Rarely do you see somebody running their best time in their 40s or their 50s. Unless they started late, then that's different. And this always going to be the exception. But in the most cases, Father Time is going to defeat you and is going to slow you down. Pit. Every sport is different, I think. Isn't it? I mean, every sport has their own element, their own physicality. But your body is going to take a toll on you no matter what you do. That's why for every sport, you could look at, when guys become champion and by when they don't win championships anymore. You get to a point where that's it. You're not going to be winning championships because I'll give you an example. In pool, age is not a factor because shooting pool doesn't require strength. So you can see a world champion in pool at 60 years old, but that doesn't require a lot of physicality. Now if Floyd beats Manny, will that make him look bad that he got beat by a guy that hasn't fought in a real fight in 10 years? Not really. That's Floyd Mayweather. That's the greatest of all time. So that's not, because you're saying Floyd hasn't fought in 10 years, right? But that's in a real fight. But how many exhibition fights Floyd done since? Floyd been more active than some professional fighters. So he's still getting in there. He's still practicing. He's still moving. He's still physical. Floyd Mayweather, there's fighters right now who Floyd Mayweather step in there and beat him. Right now. He's been active, bro. Not professional fights, but he's been active. The real King George, well, Jake Paul's case, he fights the elderly. That's a fact. The Hydro Grind, I got Manny in this one. Salute, family. You got Manny Pacquiao winning by decision or by stoppage? How does Manny win this fight? MAW, Father Time is undefeated. Everyone rises to their peak. Then it's all downhill from there. Enjoy it while it lasts. That's a fact. That is 100% factual information. The Hydro Grind got Manny Pacquiao winning by split decision. Somebody said Floyd was going to knock him out. Somebody said Floyd was going to knock him out. But there's another fight that we haven't talked about that's going down this year, my peoples. Devin Haney versus Rolly's Romero. I actually thought this fight was going to happen the moment I saw them going back and forth on social media. When Rolly started saying, yo, sign the contract. I already signed my half. And Devin was like, nah, you thirsty. I never seen you this thirsty. I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to fight. This fight is going to happen. Wes Dustin, Devin is mopping Rollies. Damn, mopping them. Bali, salute. Bam. I think this is going to be an interesting fight. Just the same way you're saying that West does it, there are those who are saying that Rolly's going to knock him out. And that Rolly's going to pull off the upset. The Hydro Grind, since Floyd's retirement, Manny has fought Bradley, Jesse Vargas, Jeff Horn, Matisse, Broner, Thurman, Ugas, and Barrios. Too much activity. Ring rust is a thing. That's the thing, bro, that you're saying ring rust, but throughout that time, how many exhibitions Floyd Mayweather did? That's activity, too. Don't get it twisted. He's not fighting on world championship caliber. He's not fighting people like that. But he's in the gym. He's doing training camps. He's sparring. He's boxing with dudes. So it's not like Floyd is just sitting in a rocking chair, has been sitting in a rocking chair for the last 10 years. He's been active. That activity counts for something. Trust me. Rafael Polanco. Countryman, salute. This is RPG, the Dominican in the house. Salute, family. Bam. Rollies versus Devin. Who do you got in this fight? Who do you think wins it? Most people got Devin in it. I haven't made a prediction myself. I'm expecting a very competitive fight. Think about the newest version of Rollies. Okay? Rollies has shown us that he got a real good jab, that he already knows how to be patient, take his time, you know, have a real good selection of punches. We saw the best version of Rollies in his last fight. And people acting like he's a bum, like he can't fight, like he's just going to get washed. Not so fast, my peoples. Not so fast, I'm telling you. The Hydro Grind speed kills. I got Haney, Queeb. Age is a factor. Inability, an example, is Glover Teixeira, former champion, who is heavy grappling style and pressure fighting diminished even when he was a champion. The younger fighter beat him. I mean, I don't know about no grappling, bro, to be honest. So you might as well have said something in Chinese right there. Sai, Haney, Queeb, Haney over Rolly, but no one can say it's a very competitive fight. Yeah, man, I see it as a competitive fight, a real good one. West doesn't. Pitbull beat the brakes off of him. You're right. Pitbull, he put hands on Rollies, but this is the new version of Rollies, bro. Don't get it twisted. The Rollies that you saw versus Ryan Garcia is not the same one that you saw versus Pitbull, right? MAW, I got Devin over Rollies. Full props to Rollies. If he can pull off the upset, of course. Win against the glory and the title as unified welterweight champion. But West does it. You're saying that Pitbull beat the crap out of Rollies, right? But Ryan Garcia beat the crap out of Devin? Like, beat the shit out of him? And what Rollies did to Ryan Garcia? You're going to forget that part? Rafael Polanco. I'm going for Rolly. But against your predictions is the Crawford Canelo. I learned not to go against your prediction. You're always on point. Salute, my brother. Side. Rolly 2.0 versus Devin 2.0. It's Rolly 2.0 versus Debo Dev. The letter M. Rolly testing his jaw nonstop. I feel like he can win. Come on now. Come on now. Don't sleep on Rollies. West does it. I don't count Oster and Ryan. I mean, you don't have to count it. But that beating that he gave Devin is still in your mind, fresh. Look how long ago that beating was. And I bet you it's still fresh in your mind like it happened yesterday. That beating, I just close my eyes. Just close my eyes and I see that beating flashing past me. The beating of a lifetime. And look what Rollies did to Ryan. Queen, but whoever wins or loses the fight, everyone's going to watch that fight closely. We're going to be tuning in. It's going to be a real interesting fight. It's going to be a good one. Ow, I hate that Devo name for Haney. It doesn't seem to fit his personality or fighting style. That's it. The name stuck. Devo Dev. And you know what? The way that he put the beats on Brian Norman Jr., it fits. Side, them steroid hooks hit different. Damn, man. So Devin was getting hit with Osterin left hooks. Wes Dustin, Rolly fought the same Ryan Tank fought. Wait a minute, Wes Dustin. You got to remember, Ryan Garcia was on that rehydration clause when he fought Tank Davis. He was on that rehydration clause. And that was at 135. Rolly's fought Ryan at 140. And if I'm not mistaken, there was no rehydration clause in that fight. I'm going to tell you what. There's no triangle theory in boxing. So, it's interesting to see Pitbull Cruz beat the crap out of Rollies. Cool. But Ryan Garcia beat the crap out of Devin. They both got the crap beat out of them. They both got the shit beat out of them. They know what it is to take a beating. On Lace, Rolly versus Dev at 147 or 149. That's a welterweight fight, bro. They both welterweight champions. That goes down in the welterweight division, my guy. The real King George, Ryan Garcia did what Haney couldn't do. You see? Ryan Garcia did it. The Hydro Grind. Rolly not even mentioned in the Four Kings. And imagine if after beating Ryan, he beats Haney too. The Silent Assassin, bro. That would be crazy. That would be something. The Party Pooper. Honestly, I see Rollies like a new generation Maidana. Or a new generation, what's this guy named? Mayorga. Rollies is like the new generation Mayorga. Because people don't remember, but Mayorga beat Vernon Forrest twice, even stopped him. The Hydro Grind, the Party Pooper. I'm telling you. Rollies, the Party Pooper Romero. The Hydro Grind, you remember Baumgardner, who came out of nowhere too? Yeah, Baumgardner could fight. Rafael Polanco, I'll say more like Maidana. On Lace, Rolly beating both of them. Flips boxing upside down. That would be crazy. Like, this is the guy that everybody said had the least skills, and he just hits hard, and he does that. That'd be nuts. Side, if Rolly is Mayorga, who's Shane Mosley? Well, his Shane Mosley was so far Ryan Garcia. Because he beat the guy that he was supposed to lose to. Aroma Sound, can't sleep on any fighter who care about keeping their O. That doesn't care about keeping their O. Queen, sorry, I have to leave early to get to business done. Salute, family. Bam! Wes does it. If Rolly's the boogeyman, who's Tank amongst these guys? I mean, I don't know. I guess Tank is the most famous duck. Because he ain't trying to fight him. You see Rolly getting in there with Devin. Tank don't want to fight Devin. Underrated Will, salute family, bam. Who do you got winning this fight? Rollies or Devin? It's going to be a competitive fight, man. I feel like they're going to go back and forth. They're both going to have their moment. I know that, Devin in the welterweight division is a problem. It's a problem. I know what he brings to the table. But Rollies, man, people are underestimating him. And they keep underestimating him. Damn, I remember when he got beat up by the old man, though. Got beat up by Barroso. Barroso was beating the shit out of Rollies. Grandpa was putting all type of hands on Rollies. Aroma sound, everyone wants to fight Tank. To be the boogeyman, people have to not want to fight you. That's what makes Shakur Stevenson the boogeyman. That's what makes him the boogeyman. People don't want to fight him. Wes Dustin, Rolly changed after that Pitbull fight. I mean, he took a nasty loss. That fight, it was a nasty loss. But I say he, improved. They made adjustments. I don't know if he was already training with Salas at that point. I'm not sure. But you see him, after that fight, that jab, that movement, the patience. Rolly's looking a lot better these days. Side, the old man had breaks in his fists. Man, he was dishing it out, man. He was giving Rolly's hell, bro. Rolly's was in a dogfight that night. The Hydro Grind, Rolly 2.0, looking good. Not going to lie. Power in both hands, and the jab is perfect. Jabbing to the body, the jab is consistent. Now you see him consistently pumping that jab out there. And he take his time. See the combination punching. Two, ba, 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 letting the hands fly. So, it's not going to be an easy fight for Devin like people thinking. This is going to be a tough one. Tough fight. And if Devin beats Rollies, now he's going to be like, look, Ryan, I beat the guy that beat you up. That's going to give him some type of relief. The guy that beat you up, Ryan Garcia, I beat him up. That's going to give Rolly some bragging right. Wes does it. We do have to remember Rolly had only been boxing a few years when he fought Tank. He is an evolving fighter. He was all judo into the late teens. I mean, it's worked out well for him, man. At this point, look, he's a world champion. On lace kicks, Ryan not calling for a rematch for a reason. Now, Ryan was actually trying to make the rematch. He was actually trying to make the rematch with Devin, and that rematch kind of got pushed off because Ryan's like, I'm the A-side. I'm the A-side. Rollies was like, oh, you got to be kidding. Look at my accomplishments. But nah. Rolly knows the A-side is based on popularity. He knows that. He been in boxing long enough. The more popular guys, the A-side. Devin knows this very well. He's a businessman. He knows what's going on. So, now he's going to unify titles, try to make more of an argument about being the A-side if he fight Ryan Garcia. But right now, Ryan is the A-side. I would say the only guy to get A-side status versus Ryan Garcia is Tank Davis. Outside of Tank Davis, nobody. Nobody's going to be the A-side. And we know that Ryan is fighting in the welterweight division. Tank is not going to fight at 147. You're not going to see him there. So for anybody wishing, hoping that we get a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, that might never happen, my peoples. We might never get that rematch. Tank is most likely going to be making his debut at 140 in his next fight. And the rest of his career might actually play out at 140. Maybe at the tail end, if he's gonna fight, let's say at 37, 38, maybe he'll make a fight or two at the welterweight division. By that point, Ryan Garcia will be at 154. So we might never see Ryan and Tank in the same division again. That just may never happen. Some guy, Isaac Pitbull, is a gatekeeper. Now, I don't think he's a gatekeeper. And I say that I don't think he's a gatekeeper because not only has he been a world champion already, I think he got what it takes to become a world champion again. And I think that he's going to be right there. When he competes with the best of them, he's going to be right there. Wes Dustin, he is clearly getting better. Devin just has more tools, in my opinion. He may be able to steamroll him, though. That would be his chance. I think for Rollies to win this fight, he has to apply calculated pressure. He got to apply pressure, but he also has to be very careful and very responsible defensively because Devo Dev got power. In the welterweight division, he showed us versus Ryan Norman Jr. Had him on the floor with the deer in the headlight look. Underrated Will. Ryan got that chin. That chain. It's WBC versus Devin. Whoa. Wes Dustin, I think so. He's a good one, though. The Hydro Grind. What will happen with Rolly's mandatory? He has until the end of the month before having his title stripped. So now that he has a fight with Devin, if they decided to sanction it, then they won't strip it because they're sanctioning this fight. It's going to be a legitimate unification, and now the title's going to go to Devin. Unless they decide to strip him. If they strip him, then this won't be a unification fight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Side, Rolly mandatory is Guillazov. Rolly don't want that smoke. See, the thing about Guillazov, bro, is that he's one of these fighters who's really good, who could give you problems, who could give you a real difficult fight, and nobody know him. So it's like these guys are at a level where they want to fight stars. They want to fight big names. They know that's where the biggest paydays are going to be at. You fight Guillazov, you mess around, lose your title, and don't even make that much money in the process of doing that. MAW, 10 versus Pitbull rematch at 140. How you see that playing out? Nah, I see it playing out exactly like the first one. Not just that. I think this time around, Tank beat him easier than the first time around. Because a lot of people on denial about it. But Tank hurt his right hand in that fight. He hurt his right hand. And because of that, he couldn't perform at his best. He beat Pitbull Cruz with one hand, my peoples. Don't forget that. So I think in the rematch, Tank does him in. Does him in, my peoples. Wes Dustin, unification, override mandatories. Not necessarily Wes Dustin. And I'm going to tell you why not necessarily. For you to do a unification fight, the sanctioning bodies have to play ball. And here's why. Remember, if you're with one sanctioning body and I'm with a different sanctioning body, we will never be mandated to fight each other. Your sanctioning body only mandates you to fight fighters that are ranked within their sanctioning bodies. So we'll never be mandated to fight each other, right? So for us to unify, the sanctioning bodies have to play ball and say, okay, yeah, we're going to sanction this fight. If not, we can't unify. And there's been cases where fighters want to unify and they don't unify because the sanctioning body is threatening to strip this fighter So instead of a unification fight, they have to defend. That happens too. So it's all about what direction the sanctioning body is willing to go in. William P. Brian, it's a young dev was bullying. Roach versus Pitbull ended in a draw. That was a good fight. I felt like Lamar Roach edged it out, but it was close enough to, for us to have to accept that draw. The Hydro Grind, Tank said Pitbull had felt like he was hitting a brick wall. Broke his hand. Tank Davis broke his hand. And the thing about that fight, which a lot of people ignore, Tank Davis messed up his hand. It was like the third or fourth round. It was early into the fight. I still remember he landed a big shot. Bang, he went, ah! And then after that, I saw he was barely using that hand. And I realized, oh, shit, this nigga's hurt. He hurt. So he beat him with one hand. People want to believe that Pitbull was so competitive against Tank Davis. You fought a guy that got one hand and he still beat you. In the rematch, if he don't get hurt, he beat you and make it look easy. We game all night. Tank is fresh. The rest of these guys get wars. Tank should be well rested. It's all about the mental game with that guy. I mean, at this point, Tank has been inactive for some time. Physically, he's good. Physically, perfect. And in his prime, what we have to see is, will Tank fight? Because that's not a done deal, right? We're hearing about it, but we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Tank Davis just yet. I'm hoping that we're going to get a fight this year from him. And I'm going to be honest, and I said it yesterday. I said it in yesterday's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm not a fan of Tank Davis fighting Pitbull Cruz in a rematch. We already saw that fight. And most of us already know how the rematch is going to play out. Tank Davis is going to cook him. Cook him. So to me, this fight feels like more of the same. We're getting more of the same from Tank Davis, where he's still not fighting the guys that we want him to fight. We want to see Tank in the ring with Devin. We want to see him with Shakur. We want to see him with Teofimo Lopez. We want to see those fights. And the thing is, the ship probably sailed on Tank versus Devin, because Devin is fighting at 147. And Tank is going to be making his debut at 140. And Devin is already talking about challenging Xander Sayas at 154. So we may never see Tank and Devin in the same division. Tank versus Teo. That ship probably sailed. Teo's talking about moving up to welterweight. And we're not going to see Tank in the welterweight division. We might see him at the end of his career, maybe. But he's making his debut at 140 right now. He's going to be there for years. So Tank versus Devin and Tank versus Teo, that's pretty much off the table. Tank versus Shakur, though. That's a fight that could be made. Shakur just fought at 140. He became a world champion in the same division that Tank supposedly is going to come back and fight. And Shakur saying if he don't find a big fight, a big name, a big star, he's going to move back down to 135. Maybe he goes after Raymond Morataya. But Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is a fight that could be made whenever Tank decides to do it. Tank just got to pull the trigger on that fight, my peoples. If Tank say, I want to fight Shakur, that's what he's going to fight. The Hydro Grind, Sayas versus Kelly to unify in June in Puerto Rico. Who you got? Whoa. Xander Sayas versus... Hold on. Are they talking about that, or is that a done deal? Because I know that Sayas expressed interest in Kelly and Kelly expressed interest in Sayas, but I don't know that that's a done deal. MAW, no progress on Boost versus Virgil. No, Boost versus Virgil look like it's not going to happen, bro. It look like it's not going to happen. Right now, I'm going to put it to you like this. Virgil ain't fighting nobody. He's taking golden. He's still taking Golden Boy to court because now he's appealing the original decision, and they're gonna go to mediation. Mediation is a process that can last years, bro. You can last 2 years in mediation, 3 years in mediation. So Virgil, he's gonna be put on a shelf, and he's gonna be collecting dust for some time. The assassin, hey, I lost all respect for Tank. That man don't care for the sport no more. That old women beater. Nah, look, man, I believe that Tank Davis is somebody who does care about the sport of boxing. Once you get to that level where he's been at, you gotta love the sport of boxing. Maybe there could be things out there that are sidetracking you, taking your focus away from the sweet science. But a guy like Tank, who's that talented, that skilled, and done what he's already done in boxing, nah. Even with a lot of money, even having a lot of money, you'll see Tank getting in there because he want to fight. Because he's seen the attention Shakur Stevenson is getting, the attention Ryan Garcia is getting. It's like, damn, Shakur's a reigning world champion. Ryan is a reigning world champion. Devin is a reigning world champion. That right there will motivate him to say, damn, I want to fight. I want to fight. MAW, Zayas versus Kelly is a quality unification fight. No doubt, my brother. No doubt. We will be tuning in for that one. If they sign them contracts and make it happen, we're going to be watching. The Hydrogram, both camps are agreeing on terms, and the venue in Puerto Rico is already reserved by Top Rank. It should be announced in a few weeks. I hope they make it happen, man. That's a big fight. Another big unification fight for Xander Sayers, who would end up having 3 out of the 4 titles in his possession. That would be big for him. MAW, Fondora letting Xander do all the work. Jamel got a fight yet? Right now, Jamel doesn't have a fight yet. He's been trying to fight everybody, calling out everybody. And you know what? Now that we're probably not going to get Virgil Ortiz versus Jerome Boots Ennis, maybe they consider Jamel Charlo. Because remember, Jamel Charlo was like, yo, Eddie, I'm in your DMs about Boots, man. What's up? Let's make it happen. Jamel Charlo want to fight Boots. And I like that fight. I'm telling you that right now. Jamel Charlo versus Jerome Boots Ennis at 154. That's a heck of a fight. Side, I want to see undisputed champ at 154. I mean, if Xander Sayers or Josh Kelly end up with 3 belts, then that's it. It's only one more fight for undisputed. The assassin, Fondora, is super tall, rangy, but I don't see any advantages he has, any other advantages he has versus Thurman. That's why I tell people that it is going to be a competitive fight. They're underestimating Keith Thurman. A lot of people acting like he's just out there to get washed, to get caught. And it's not like that, man. Keith Thurman can fight. Keith Thurman can fight, and he's going to have the advantage in speed in that ring. Juan Torres, I think Jamel Charlos ran his course as far as skill level. I don't think he's the same fighter no more. But you have to take something into consideration, bro. He got done up by Canelo Alvarez. He got done up by Canelo Alvarez. A guy, getting beat by one of the greatest fighters, a pound-for-pound fighter, doesn't mean that he's done. If anything, you have to take into account that the inactivity also allows a fighter to heal physically, mentally, and it allows them to also get motivated again, start feeling that hunger again, start feeling that chip on his shoulder. So you got to remember, Jamel Charlo, he never lost his 154 titles. He was the undisputed champion, and he never lost his titles in the ring. Ain't nobody beat him for those titles at 154. The assassin. If Thurman wins, I'll be happy. I'm rooting for him. I always like the underdogs. So Keith Thurman is definitely going to be the underdog in this fight. Sebastian Fondora is the guy. And I've been telling people, Sebastian Fondora is the guy at 154. He's the man. Somebody's going to have to dethrone him if they want to claim that title. Juan Torres, I believe Keith Thurman is definitely a problem for a lot of these guys. He still processes all his skills as far as I can, possesses all his skills as far as I can see. Me too. The last time we saw him in the ring, Brock Jarvis, you know, the way that he beat him in destructive, brutal fashion. Like, wait a minute, Keith Thurman still got it, man. Keith Thurman is a guy who's going to give problems to whoever's standing in the ring with him. Nobody's going to watch Keith Thurman or make him look easy or none of that stuff. So this is going to be a competitive fight, my peoples. So, look, let me give you guys a quick recap. Because people have been asking me, what fights we got coming up? What fights we got coming up? There's not a lot of fights. These are just some of them, my peoples. Look at these fights. So we got coming up later this month, Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fondora. Then we have Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora. This is gonna be a slugfest, my peoples. You know this thing is not going the distance. I already told you, it's not going the distance. Then we have Tyson Fury versus Makhmudov. This is going to be a good fight. Makhmudov can't fight, but I see Tyson Fury putting the Swiss, the Dre, and the Apple Beats on him. But that's going to be on the same card that Conor Benn is going to fight Regis Prograis, supposedly for $15 million. I already told you, I think that's cap. But we got Conor Benn, Regis Prograis. Then we have Alicia Baumgardner. That's next month. She's going to be facing Shin. I expect that to be a good fight. I told you guys before, I always feel like Japanese fighters that you don't know, when they get given an opportunity for a title shot, they always turn out to be nice. Japanese fighters, they never let us down. This is going to be a good fight. I expect Alicia Baumgardner to walk out of there with a dub, but still a competitive fight. Then we're getting the Mexican Monster versus Zurdo. You guys know that this thing is going to turn into a fight early. Slugfest early. Neither one of these guys like to fight, you know, off of their footwork and moving around and defensively. They like to let the hands fly. They bring the heavy artillery and they put it out there early on. So I'm expecting this to be a real good fight. Fireworks all over the place. Ultimately, Benavidez is going to beat the shit out of him. That's just the reality. Benavidez is going to do what the Mexican Monster does. But it is going to be a good fight. Zurdo is going to be out there to get the W. He's going to be out there feeling like he could beat the Mexican Monster. The guy moving up in weight. No. Benavidez is going to beat the shit out of him. Then we got, you know, one of the craziest rematches that we've seen in boxing history. Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. Floyd, 49 years old. Manny, 47 years old. What they gonna do? How is this fight gonna play out? Is it actually gonna happen? It looks like it is. It looks like it is. We're gonna get a big fight. We're gonna get a big fight from Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, my peoples. Then of course, we got Rollies and Devin. That fight is also on the way. Unification fight. Two young, hungry lions. Both of them have accomplished. People expecting Devin Haney to wash Rollies. I don't know. I don't know that he's going to wash him. I told you before, Rollies, you know, he's working with Ismael Salas, great Cuban coach, and he's been looking good. Last fight, he was looking spectacular out there. So we got some good fights on the way this year, my people. Now, what's next? For Shakur Stevenson, we don't know yet. It looks like him and Ryan are not going to come to an agreement. So what's next for Shakur Stevenson? What's next for Ryan Garcia? We don't know yet. We don't know. There's the potential that we're going to get Tank Davis versus Pitbull Cruz too. That's another one that we might get. Not, I'm being honest with you guys. This is not my preference. If I could get any fight from Tank Davis, it's not going to be Pitbull. I already seen them two in the ring. I know how the rematch plays out. Yes, it could be entertaining. It could be a good fight. But ultimately, I know who wins this one. Tank Davis is going to win if they fight this rematch. That's just the reality. The Assassin. Don't put it past Thurman. I think he can do it. You see what Haney did to Norman. That showed me anything's possible when you're skilled. Flip mode. Salute, family. If Wilder come out victorious, does he get the fight with Usyk? Salute, Jay. Keep dropping that fire. Appreciate it, my brother. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now. If Wilder gets the victory versus Chisora, I think it's possible that he could get that fight. But Usyk got his own situation going on because he got Caballero as his mandatory. So I think after this fight with the kickboxer dude, Usyk is going to have to fight his mandatory. He's going to have no choice or they're going to strip him. So Wilder, I can also see him going after that AJ fight. That fight was supposed to happen a long time ago. We should have got that fight like in 2020, 2019 around there. And we didn't get it. But I think even now, if Wilder and AJ decide to fight each other, it'll be a big fight. It'll be a big one. Side, Usyk said his next 3 fights, and Caballero ain't one of them. Yeah, but then that would mean that he's going to vacate. That would mean... But I don't put too much stock into fighters announcing multiple fights because they really don't know that they're going to be able to make all those fights. Those are the ones that he wishes for. But it doesn't always play out that way. So I know who's next for him is the kickboxer guy. We'll see after that. Side, he said he wants Rico, then Dubois, Wardley winner, and finish with Fury. I know, but it's like I told you, it doesn't always play out the way fighters want it to. He has his list, right? But we don't know that that's what's actually going to happen. But he'll definitely, if he don't fight Caballero, he'll get stripped. 100% for sure. So we have to see. We have to see how that goes. My peoples, I'm about to end today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm Jay Smith. Salute to my guy Sai, the Assassin. JJ Sendejas. Flipmo was in the building. MAW. Salute family. Juan Torres. Underrated Will. We Game All Night was also in the building. William P. Salute family. The Hydro Grind. Wes Dustin. Some guy. And everybody else who tuned in. The letter M. Everybody else who was in the building, my peoples. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Y'all know what it is, man. Tomorrow, we're going to get it popping. We're going to have another episode of Boxing for Breakfast for you guys. Whoa, JJ Sendeja says the word of the day. I'm going to give you the word of the day, my brother. The word of the day, and it's the ebb and flow. It's a common theme. My peoples. Tom Severs, salute family. Here's the word of the day for you guys. Not everybody who you think is your friend is actually your friend. Don't forget that. I know some people don't want to hear this, but this is the truth. There's people that you think are your friend that actually not your friend. There's even people out there who try to act like your friend so they see what you're doing, so they see if they could sidetrack you, so they could see if they could put your attention towards something else so you don't do what you're going to do. There's people like that. There's always people that's bringing their problems to you. Don't be a problem solver for other people, my peoples. Don't be the problem solver. It's okay to help somebody out with anything. But don't be the go-to person where anytime somebody got a problem, they come to you. You're the guy that's gonna handle their situation. Don't be that guy, my peoples. Because what that means is that you're always spending time on somebody else's situation. You're always spending time on somebody else's issue when you take that time towards yourself. So ultimately, where this word of the day is headed to is to let you know, spend time, focus, energy, and attention on yourself. Yes, I could take a couple of minutes to help this person. I could take a couple of minutes to help that person. But that's one day out of the year. One day I could do it. But I can't spend all my time trying to help you fix your shit. I can't spend all my time listening to your drama. Nah, I need to spend a lot of time for myself and my family. So I tell you, do the same thing, my peoples. All that friends stuff, forget about all that. Spend most of your time for you and your family. And there you have it, my peoples. That's the J Stradamus word of the day. Salute to everybody who tuned in this morning. I'm going to see you tomorrow, man. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith. I'm out of here. Peace.